All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is Whoopi Goldberg goes after RFK Jr. All right. This is a suggestion via a channel member, guys.
Well, Health and Human Services Secretary nominee RFK Jr. is being accused of fat shaming after he's been encouraging Americans to embrace healthier lifestyles instead of weight loss drugs.
Okay.
Most people who have diabetes or pre-diabetic can be cured with good food. And if they choose instead to be cured by Ozempic,
Okay.
the government then pays $1,500 a month for the rest of their lives. And with a fraction of that, we could give everybody organic foods 3 meals a day in this country.
Guys, I want to go ahead and point something out. I'm definitely fat, right? So here's the thing. Yeah, I've been absolutely thinking, like, what can I do to not be so fat? And the only thing that I think of generally, I eat very similarly to, how I eat when I'm outside of the country. Generally, I live half the year in Spain. So when I'm there, eating the same exact way, I know I'm going to lose 45 pounds at least, probably within the first 2 months. And that's generally what I like to point out specifically. We have a problem with our food in the United States of America, and that's what I think is the reality. And I do think that if people are having a hard time, they should be able to take some type of something that can actually force their body to start burning fat maybe differently. So I'm not going to sit here and shame someone using some type of medicine or medication for the sole purpose of actually getting better. Yes, I understand, guys. You just go to the gym. I get that. Right? Stop eating like this. Yes, I get that. But this, has the ability to change how your body burns fat and basically sources energy. So I'm not going to sit here and shame somebody for that, guys.
Everybody organic foods 3 meals a day in this country.
So The View co-host Whoopi Goldberg responded this way.
This isn't just about food.
No, it's not.
This is sometimes people are born genetically larger.
Agreed. I didn't mean to.
No, I know you didn't.
Yeah.
But I want to say this to
RFK.
That's his name. Because you're setting folks up for shame.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying. Maybe you don't know you're doing. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say you don't know, you don't realize what you do to people when you say stuff like that, because it doesn't work for everybody. And I'm going to show you, sir, because I weighed close to 300.
Okay.
Less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And without the Mounjaro, this would not have happened.
There you go. Take it off. Take it off.
Okay, guys. I like the concept of shaming. I'd say some of that needs to kind of get brought back because people are weak. But that's not the point here, all right? I think they're both right in this instance here. Like, as much as I want to sit here and just be like, listen, I hate The View. I do. I don't like The View. I don't like any of the things generally that they have to promote or say. But she's not wrong. And also, RFK Jr. is not wrong. Okay, so they're both right. But they're just, I guess, right differently, right? He's saying, hey, listen, the food is absolutely terrible. We need to do something about the food. I agree, right? But also at the same time, I think that the medication should definitely be something that is available. If you actually do want to do something about it, make it so these companies are not charging 1,000 times more than they charge in their home country. All right? That would probably be better. And then we wouldn't have to worry about specifically the amount of the cost that he basically mentioned, guys, at that level. Our medication is entirely too expensive in this country, period. I can definitely tell you how much an inhaler, for example, is in Spain, less than $1, versus what it is in the United States of America. Bro, astronomically stupid compared. All right? So I think they're both right, to be honest. I think they're both right. But let's continue.
Well, there is a doctor on the house today.
Well, as a radiologist, I see everyone's insides and outside. And I can tell you that we actually are, for the far majority of us, created equally when it comes to our insides. Now, Whoopi Goldberg is correct that there are some genetic and familial predispositions to people being overweight, specifically metabolic syndrome and some others.
Right.
But RFK Jr. is also correct, and I apologize, but the truth hurts.
Right.
A lot of it has to do with our lifestyle factors. And unfortunately, what you see in especially low-income areas, access to healthy foods is just not there. They're certainly not affordable. They don't get to go to their local market and get the organic foods. And fact, they get the high processed, cheap stuff. And
Right.
that, unfortunately, is what, puts us into this dangerous cycle of unhealthy eating. It's not necessarily because they're gluttonous or they're wanting
Right,
to
it's the
ruin their
quality
own
of the
health or their
food.
body or their lifestyles, but that is what they can access and they can afford.
And guys, I'm going to go ahead and point out, I definitely would like to see RFK Jr. specifically if he's going to do something. You have to start banning the concept of food deserts. Food deserts shouldn't exist because whenever they do exist, you have entities like the dollar store, Dollar General. These will end up being the only things that people can generally shop at. Heavily processed foods are going to be sold in these, budgeted areas. You generally find a lot of these in rural areas in general. Again, food deserts need to, for the most part, go away. As they stand, because exactly what she just said is going to continue to happen, guys.
One of the questions that I have about these drugs has to do with the mental health components that go into, you mentioned gluttony, but sometimes people are emotional eaters. And so how do these drugs help with that? It's my understanding that they don't treat the underlying causes of why you sit with a box of Oreos for 4 hours.
Well,
Right.
first of
They
all,
don't.
most medications don't treat underlying causes. In fact, they're just like putting Band-Aids on bullet wounds. And we really have to be focusing on prevention of illness before it actually starts. These medications, they are certainly coming with risks. I personally believe that they're being widely overutilized. And we do have to have some fundamental policy being put into place to help people try to live healthier lifestyles. And the people who can, they are taking these medications, but they're also changing their lifestyles. They're exercising, they're eating healthier.
Right,
But for a lot of people,
they
they're
feel
not. And
less
they
weight.
certainly are not, they're not going to help the underlying mental health issues. And in fact, they've been investigated that they're making mental health issues worse in some people taking these medications.
Guys, I can see that happening. Absolutely. My main concern is this here. Is the mental health issues or incidents that are happening, let's say, mental health outbursts, let's say, that's forcing people to kind of go back to consuming copious amounts of food. Is it worse with someone consuming copious amounts of food past, 400 pounds? Or could they consume copious amounts of food, at 160 pounds? Okay, so I hear what you're saying, valid. But if there is something that has the ability to shed weight, that means promote longevity in life, I think that should not be something that is frowned upon. I'm just going to be honest here, guys, but let's continue.
So RFK Jr. on weight loss drugs now. Can we pop that up? The first line response should be lifestyle. That's exactly what Dr. Sapphire is saying. It should be eating well, making sure that you don't get obese, and that those, meaning the weight loss drugs, have a place. Ian.
Yeah, I don't remember Whoopi Goldberg being upset with Michelle Obama's school lunch plan back in 2010. There was no fat shaming there. It's always the person delivering the message for the left than it is the message.
Nah, bro,
And I
you're
think
reaching.
that, as we've talked about, this is something that can be, in large cases, helped with lifestyle changes, right? I mean, not only by things like exercising and eating right do you improve your physical condition and your overall health, you also improve your mental condition and your mental health. I mean, it just, for people that exercise regularly, they know this. They know, nothing, when you have a good workout.
Yeah, he has definitely never been fat in his life. I'm gonna be honest. I get that energy from him. Okay, it's a little bit more than what you're saying, but I hear it. This is coming from the perception of incredibly skinny people on the stage here, guys.
To start a day or a run or whatever, you feel energized during that day. If you're just resorting to, well, my first try is going to be this drug or that drug, you're losing a lot of benefits mentally as well as physically and what you could do to preserve your life going forward.
Look, I want to talk about the politics of this because it seems that as Donald Trump is putting candidates up for different secretary, cabinet positions, so on and so forth, that there is a natural push. This sort of can be put in that box, Tammy, although, Whoopi shared her personal experience with weight loss. So we ask in our Fox poll, would you confirm RFK Jr. as the Health and Human Services Secretary that Trump has chosen?
Yeah, I would.
48% of Americans would in fact confirm RFK Jr. as HHS Secretary, Tammy.
Yeah, I think ultimately we know we've got two competing issues here. We're a society that wants immediate results. We get upset when the internet doesn't give us what we want in 5 seconds as opposed to 10 seconds.
Okay.
We want immediate satisfaction and gratification. The idea of discipline, going to the office every day, right? Getting up to do a run, plus the number of Americans on psychotropics dealing with mental health issues, handed out like candy, where you've got, it's over 60% of Americans are on some kind of impact drug on our bodies, on our brains, which then affects depression and our energy and our motivation. So we've been given pills as solutions to things, as the cheaper solution. And now you've got this. Now, look, some people, you need the boost. That's great. A friend of mine took the Ozempic. And he said about the noise about eating the Oreos, it stops what he called food noise. And they don't know what else it stops. So that's the other thing. But the bottom line is Americans want solutions. We know it's not working.
Well, that's fascinating.
And we want, but it's about discipline and alternatives and inspiration by someone like Bobby Kennedy.
So I mean, depending on how often and with who you have in your life as a doctor guiding you, maybe it can shut down some of that mental, which is huge.
How stupid do you have to be to not understand that being overweight is unhealthy? It's heart health, the heart disease rate in this country because of obesity. And you mentioned in the break about how COVID, how more people were susceptible to dying. Having COVID was being overweight. So this isn't fat shaming. This is wanting a healthy America. Right now, we have an obese America. The overweight, the number of overweight people in this country are astronomical. I, too, have lost weight. I remember what it felt like to be overweight. It was an awful feeling. So I can speak on behalf of those that have been struggling with weight loss and yo-yo dieting my entire life. It sucks. I mean, it just does not feel comfortable, but you feel so much healthier. Get out there and exercise. That's what parents need to be teaching kids. Kids are on their iPads or on their iPhones. We're raising future fat kids, honestly. And I'm not fat shaming. I just see so many children that are overweight, and I think that's so unhealthy. Well, you got to start them young.
The data backs up everything she's saying, but I also want to say it's very unfortunate what they're doing, like on The View and other ones, where all they're doing are praising these medications. While they do have a place for some people, there are also some serious consequences with it. And just in the last month came out that some breast cancer patients, their chemotherapy is not as effective if they're on these medications.
Yeah, we
don't know.
We really
so we have to move forward with caution.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Depending on who you have in your life as a doctor is really particularly important. Look, I'm glad we're having the conversation because I think it's important. I just think that when I hear drugs like that being pushed, I wonder, because I know Whoopi says she's working on The View right now because she's got bills to pay. I want to make sure we're not doing it so that the benefit is maybe sponsorship. Correct. Not saying that that's happening, but that's
a reach.
That accomplishes when you do that sort of thing over and over. So we'll see.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, all right. So this was actually a solid one here, guys. I definitely don't get the fat shaming thing. I mean, I do agree with both of their stances. I mean, but I do think that they should be working together in this instance. But obviously, it's The View. They're not going to work with anyone unless you are heavily left leaning, basically. And so here's the thing. I would say probably when it comes down to this, I've never taken it. I've never, done any of these things. But like looking at it from the outside, even though I probably should, because that's crazy. Anything that can make things better, it will be probably great. But I think both of these things need to happen. Like I would probably take it in Spain. I wouldn't take it here because I would think it's probably pointless because I'd still be consuming the nonsense food basically that we consume in the United States of America. Nonsense, complete, utter nonsense, right? So I'll naturally lose like 40, 50 pounds within, like I said, within the first like 2 months in Spain. And I'll gain it, and I'll always gain it back when I come back to the United States of America, always. And so here's the thing. I could do that, and then take that, and then lose actually more weight. Perfect, okay? Because I think the main issue, with me being a fat person, right, is I don't move enough. I know I don't move enough, but I also don't really consume a lot of food, though. I may be perceived as if I consume copious amounts of food. I don't really do that. My breakfast consumes of basically steak and eggs. Steak, eggs, black coffee. My dinner generally consists of maybe like a chicken breast, a half of a chicken breast, broccoli, and never like any like carbs or anything like that. That's not what I do. But that's basically it, right? That's it. That's what I consume. Black coffee. Today I had French fries for like the first time in like 3 weeks. So just like understand, I don't know what it is. Weight does not leave my body. I know I don't move enough also though. But I'm definitely consistently, almost permanently in a calorie deficit. Permanently. So, yeah, I think my only last step would probably be partaking in some of this craziness. All right. That's it. That's kind of where I'm at. But I know the food is definitely an issue. This is why I try my hardest to not consume anything from like gas stations or anything like that. I don't want none of that poison. None of it. None of it, bro. But if RFK Jr. can do something about the quality of our food, removing these ridiculous dyes, like if go to Europe, okay? I want to point something out here. Go to Europe and look at the soda aisle, right? Like the aisle where, I don't know, the Fanta is, specifically Fanta Orange. Why is our Fanta Orange so orange? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say in Europe, it's like a solid 15 times, paler, basically. All right. Everything is so bright and colorful. It's just, listen, guys, we have a problem. All right. These corporations and the marketing teams and neural marketers have completely obliterated us, bro. And if we can get to the rest of the world standard, let's say, of food safety and food ingredients, that'll absolutely be amazing, okay? No more high fructose corn sugar. If it has sugar, it's cane sugar, okay? Stop allowing these companies to poison Americans, bro, please. That'll be the best, guys. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey, guys. You guys subscribe to the other channels, Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, it's amazing.